welcome to Dragonheart. Loads to talk about this week. We've had two new signings. One, it's not that big, I suppose. Didn't break the internet or anything. The other one, the other things to talk about, we've had a brand new away kit, which we're going to talk about, and we've got a friendly, which neither of us watched, but you've had some notes. So, yeah, how are you doing, Mark?
Yeah, not too bad. I've not broken the internet or anything, but but I am, funnily enough, last season's League Two Player of the Year. So yeah, I'm all ready for action, Chay. Let's crack on with it.
Yeah, let's crack on with it. So after this, we're going to talk about our two new signings.
Hi guys, I'm Dominic Vose and this is Dragonheart.
Well, two new signings. First one was Harry Lennon, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
He come early on this week. From listening to what other fans have said, he seems like a real player, but his issues are off the pitch, really, aren't they, with his injuries, really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's continuing a pattern, really, isn't it, of signings who clearly have had their careers in the Football League, players who are worth contracts in the Football League, but we're managing to bring them down to us. And yeah, the only issue is one of just keeping him fit. And otherwise, he sounds like he's physical and quick. There's a bit of a profile building, I think, with the sort of centre-backs we're bringing in, where they're comfortable enough on the ball and they're big and strong, as they have to be in the National League, but they also looks to have a little bit of pace about them as well. So that looks like he fits into a good profile there. And as long as we can keep him fit, he sounds like he's going to be an asset.
Yeah, well, with hopefully all the improved things off the pitch, maybe we can keep these players fit. Maybe he doesn't play every game. Maybe, if he's got these injury problems, maybe he doesn't train as much and he's ready for match day. And hopefully the science off the pitch can help with that. But from what I've heard from the other teams he's played for, he sounds like a real solid talent, to be fair. And yeah, a solid signing for our level, I'd say.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll get onto it in a bit when we talk about the Burnley game as well, just how many sort of defenders we're looking to have playing in our starting formation will maybe be interesting as well. If we play three at the back, we need more depth in the centre of defence. If we're playing four at the back, not so much. So it'll be interesting to see where he fits into that pattern. But yeah, certainly from what we know, he's certainly got the ability to help drive us forwards.
Yeah, well, I think if we're playing three at the back, we'll probably need three more centre-backs, really, would you say?
I think, yeah. I mean, French can play in there. We've said in the past that we think Record could probably tuck in there as well. But yeah, I would agree. At the moment, it looks to me like if we're going to play three at the back, well, you need at least five centre-backs, don't you, really, in all honesty? Yeah. And at the moment, we've got two plus Cleworth, who we assume we'll look to loan out, although I do like the look of Max Cleworth, to be honest with you. And he fits the profile in the sense of being a player who can pass out from the back. He's very good with the ball at his feet for a centre-back. So Max Cleworth is one I'd like us to keep an eye on, but it may well be that he needs another season of first-team football.
Yeah, well, that'd be great. Well, maybe Parkinson sees something in him and maybe wants him as a backup this season. You never know, do you? But the obvious thing for me would be maybe get him out to Welsh Premier League or Conference North side and get that real experience in. Wouldn't that be the obvious thing to do, I'd say?
I'd love to see. I think it'd be a very difficult deal to strike, though, would be him having a season on loan in our league. Now, right. A difficult deal to strike, I think, in the sense of teams in our league probably aren't looking to loan a lad who's, well, he's yet to make his league debut from somebody at the same level. So I do understand that. And when you look at the quality, Grimsby's lone centre-back this week, they're bringing in players with a lot more experience from a higher level. So maybe it'll be a hard sell for us. But I think Cleworth he did very well at Carnarvon. And I'd like to see him step it up again. And if he could show himself, if he could get a run at our level, which, like I said, is a rare deal to strike, he'd be ready for League Two next season, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but with that argument, maybe he's ready to play for us.
That's fair comment. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. Yeah.
Why loan him out if he's good enough to play for a National League side? Then play for us rather than getting someone else in as well. So I would argue, even if we play 4 at the back, we need 3 right, maybe 2 or 3 more centre backs, because Tyler French, I would imagine, would be cover for right back if we were playing 4 at the back.
You'd have thought so. I mean, to be fair to him, actually, because when we've seen him last season, like I say, he likes driving up and down, and he was playing as a wide centre back in the 3. And I think that, wing back, wide centre back are his best positions. But to be fair, he did the defensive side of the job very well when he was playing as a centre back, and I could see him being okay in the 2. But yeah, we want, if you've got flexible players, you want to be able to have other options. So because of that, yeah, I agree. I think you cater for a back 4 with French as backup at full back, and then as the season progresses, if you need to use him in the middle, you do so. But yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I think with French as well, we forget about how young he actually is, with that, how mature he actually plays sometimes. Yeah. So maybe being a full first choice centre back at a team that are pushing for the title, it's a lot, isn't it, for someone of that age?
Yeah, but you got to grasp the opportunity.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And then we have this one other little signing we had last week, which, I don't think men are talking about it really. Paul Mullin. I got to be honest with you, that more people were talking about that transfer than the Jadon Sancho transfer that happened at the same day.
It was something, wasn't it? Yeah. Wow. I mean, his record, goal scoring records, crazy. Just to bring him in like that, that's, man, it's not just a signing, it's a statement, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah. I put a tweet out saying this is a statement. It says a hell of a lot, because even the likes of Preston were going in for him in the Championship. Yeah. And what I liked about him, he scores all sorts of different types of goals as well. He seems the full package, and for us to entice him to come down this level really means that these owners aren't really messing about, are they?
Oh gosh, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just the sort of signing that gets you so excited, isn't it? Really, I mean, when you look at his goal scoring record. So last year, obviously, I mean, he's got 32 goals just in the league. What? Another couple as well in the LDV or whatever it's called these days. So goals per start, through the roof. But actually, he's got a decent record of goal scoring before then. Going back through his history. I mean, the season before at Tranmere in League One and at Cambridge combined 14 starts, 5 goals, so 1 in 3 roughly. The season before at Tranmere, 8 starts, 5 goals. In all competitions, 14 starts, 7 goals. So even when he's not getting a lot of pitch time, he's still scoring. Swindon, the season before in League Two, 26 starts, 10 goals. And then at Morecambe, 3 seasons in League Two, 10 goals in 38, 10 in 16, 8 in 21. And that's his career record. So he's consistently scoring goals. He's got to double figures in all but 3 of the seasons he's played, 4, 5, 6, that's 7. It's a tasty record when you consider, obviously, that the start of that is him just establishing himself, isn't it? It's just him as a young pro settling into the professional game. That's a fantastic record.
And he's dropping down a league. It'd be sort of reminds me of, like, say, Andy Morel when he had that fantastic season with us, dropping down a league to like Scarborough at the time or something. You know what I mean? That's what it sort of reminds me. It's just it's one hell of a signing. It really, really is. And I just couldn't quite believe it, because I remember us talking about it the week before, saying, we're not going to sign someone like him. You know, he's going to go Championship. He's going to go League One. You know, but he's come down to us. But I think one thing that's completely not talked about enough is he's moved closer to home. Wrexham's only a stone's throw away from Merseyside, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He's a player who's made a real commitment to us, and he's bearing out what Phil Parkinson's been saying about being patient. That these are big decisions for players. You know, like you said, that we understand that the Championship team's after him. He's actually dropped 2 divisions, because your analogy of Andy Morel is absolutely spot on. Morel had gone up with us, so he could have stayed and been in League One, but instead he's had to take his time and weigh up his options. but he's decided that we're the direction to go in, and the long term we're the best option. It's a fabulous signing. I mean, to me, yeah, being realistic, this is like the top end of what we could possibly hope for, and that's why I'm delighted to land it, because we've now sent out a message of what we're looking to do, and similar players with a similar profile to him will look at that and think, oh, Wrexham, okay, yeah, they really are serious about it. And also, that slightly disappointed feeling you get when Stockport buy really good players.
Yeah.
Now Stockport and all the others are thinking, oh, look at Wrexham. Oh, that's a bit of a worry. I'm happy with that, to be honest with you. It's an intimidatory message as well, isn't it?
And it's not just the others in our league. A lot of fans from League One, Championship, League Two. As I said, it broke the internet. It really did break the internet last Friday. I couldn't quite believe all the major football accounts, all the major in England and in the UK were just talking about us signing this player, and it just says a hell of a lot. And a lot of fans are comparing us to sugar daddy clubs around England, but honestly, I think this is a lot different because Wrexham have that history already.
It's I'm a terrible hypocrite. All right, I'm gonna fess up. Oh, the grief I gave Crawley and Fleetwood and all those. Suddenly my opinions changed a bit. But to be honest with you, that's because I'm comfortable with this notion of ownership. As Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds have said very clearly, their idea is to leave us in a better place. Whereas the worry for me with clubs to spend lots of money, I'm not complaining. I never complained about them spending a lot of money per se. It's just that when a sugar daddy comes in and throws that money in, there comes a point where the sugar daddy leaves, and then that club suffers. And that's what would worry me normally and make me not like that sort of model. Look at what's happened to Russian and Diamonds. I mean, they were literally a village club. They got a wonderful stadium and amazing facilities built for them. They went up as high as League One, and their stadium now is rubble and they don't exist. I mean, that's tragic. That's the thing that worries me about the unrealistic injection of cash. But, well, the owners have been very clear that this is a sustainable thing, isn't it? And that's why I feel comfortable with it. Apart from the fact that, it's my club and we just bought Paul Mullin and we shouldn't have done.
Well, but the thing is, though, our owners are building a worldwide fan base. So when they do leave, Wrexham will be in a lot of people's memories, won't they? The TikTok thing's been an absolute genius. I've walked through town, I've seen so many kids wearing TikTok tops, Wrexham TikTok tops, and it's really, really genius marketing by our owners and and the club, and it's building us a real base to maybe shoot up the English ladder.
It's very smart. Whichever league we're in next year will be under financial fair play. This opening up of really big revenue streams is superb preparation for that. You might argue that this year is a bit of a free hit to spend money before we're under those strictures as well. But yeah, to be striking these deals is fantastic. And well, they'll be wearing TikTok shirts around the streets of Philadelphia now, won't they? Nice green TikTok shirts.
Yeah, and that's what we're moving on to now is the brand new kit. What were your thoughts on the new kit?
I really like it. I'm a sucker for a retro kit. I've got to be honest with you. But I think it looks nice. I like that lace thing at the top. And the It's Always Sunny thing. There's a big family show on the back. I do like that as well. But I've got to say, the big deal for me is what I just said before. This will sell outside of our local area, outside of our normal fan base. I don't think it's a coincidence that this is the shirt that Ryan Reynolds appears in. This is the shirt that they can push in America or Canada, and certainly in Philadelphia. The idea of the Eagles fans wearing it, but it's beautifully done, isn't it? If we were at a small club somewhere else linked to us in this way, a lot of us would consider buying their shirt, and it's a nice piece of sort of cross-fertilization, if you like. I don't think it's a coincidence as well that Charlie Day, of course, who won the Stars of Always Sunny, did that brilliant TikTok video. It's all LinkedIn. It's like someone's planned this out. It's almost like we're clever all of a sudden. But he did that brilliant TikTok video himself, launching the shirt. So yeah, it's really, really smart. And again, it opens up revenue for us, and it's a nice shirt too. What do you think about it?
Right. I gotta be brutally honest, I'm not the biggest fan. But I think I can see why they've done it. It makes sense, from a business point of view. I think it does look quite nice. I'm not sure if I like the collar. I'm opposite to you. I don't like the black stringy bits. But I can see where they're coming from it. It makes sense from a business point of view. I think I prefer last season's away kit ever so slightly. But yeah, it's a nice kit. It looks iconic, doesn't it? Doesn't look just like a packaged kit that you can just get from Sports Direct. It's very unique. It's very sellable, and it's going to be crazy that people in Philadelphia are going to be wearing it. It is a good kit. I do like it.
Yeah, like you say, clubs of our nature and bigger than us usually get off-the-shelf kits from their manufacturer and just have the badges and sponsors steamed on, ironed on. So it's good that we've got something which is designed for us in both shirts cases. I just think, again, it just elevates it a little bit, makes fans feel that it's special, and also gives it that unique look that will sell it outside of just our fan base. So, in all angles, that's a wonderful step forward, I think, as well.
Yeah, and it is. And like the aviation gin, it's smart on the sleeves as well. It's a really, really nice. It is a really nice kit. It's not my favorite away kit Wrexham have ever had, but I can see why they've done it, and you can see that being a real iconic, hopefully, title-winning kit.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would certainly push it up in the popularity in the future. Can I ask you a question as well? You made me think then, saying about the aviation gin sleeve sponsorship. Do you think that having high-profile sponsors can sell a kit to people?
Yeah.
And I mean both in terms of your own fans. I mean, a very, very obvious example of this, I would argue, if we'd never had a takeover or anything like that, a shirt with Wrexham Lager on the front would probably sell more than a shirt with somebody else on the front to Wrexham fans, because they see that whole symbiosis and relationship. To be fair, actually, Ivor Williams probably is in a similar position, isn't it, now? Because Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney have made them a fun brand that's recognised internationally. So ironically, I think Ivor Williams now probably would have the same sort of cachet, not just among Wrexham fans, but not just that. The fact that you've got Expedia, that you've got TikTok, obviously, that you've got Aviation Gin, that you've got all these high-profile sponsors on the shirt, does that appeal, do you think, to people who buy shirts, maybe if they're not a Wrexham fan, of, oh, look at the cool brands on it? Is that how the 21st century works?
Yeah, I think that is how kits work. And I think, even if you look back to Wrexham times, like 10, 20 years ago, I could guarantee you the Adidas tops we had probably sold more than the Van den L tops we had. Because people see logos, they see familiar things, and they just buy it, don't they? Because it's got Aviation Gin on, that's quite cool. It's got TikTok, my kids will like that. It's something you see all the time. It must be some sort of psychological thing, and I think, the big sponsors certainly do help. And I think with Wrexham at the moment, it's a cocktail of many different things, isn't it? Like, the new takeover, the new players, the feel good factor. People, are going to be getting back into the stadium soon. They want to buy a new top, don't they? I think it's a big cocktail of a lot of things, and why these shirts are flying out so quickly.
It is mad, isn't it? I'm just thinking then of like cult shirts that people buy without them having any link to that club, because of sponsor names. And the first one, oh gosh, maybe it's good that this is podcast only. I think I'll spell this rather than say it, but there was a team, where were they? They were Bolivian, I think, or Ecuadorian. And they had a cult shirt in the 80s, which people were buying. And if you look around, you'll still see people selling them now. Very basic green and white striped shirt. But the beauty is that the team's name was Deportivo WANKA. And it has written on the front of the shirt WANKA. And they did a roaring trade in Britain, comparatively.
No surprise.
Yeah. Not so much in America, not just because they haven't got the football shirt buying culture, but also because, of course, it's not as strong a word in America. And I was shocked yesterday to be watching an American edit of The Trash of the Titans, one of my favorite Simpsons episodes, and to find that that's exactly that word is censored in Britain. There's a bit when U2 are on stage where the word is used, and I've never seen that. It's been cut out. Why am I talking about this? I don't know. And then the Athletic Bilbao shirts, they had a couple of bizarre away shirts in the 90s, and they both became like cult shirts. And one of them was a Spider-Man shirt. They were sponsored by the film.
Yeah.
And so they had, I mean, maybe I'm unfair saying this. Maybe it's wrong because maybe the selling point was that it had the web design on the shirt, but the fact it was sponsored by Spider-Man in the middle. I wonder, people will buy a shirt because of a cool sponsor. And in Scarborough, or maybe this is the opposite, when they were in the Football League, had their shirt banned by the Football League, which these days would mean it would sell like crazy, because they were sponsored by Black Death vodka. And it had a skull and crossbones, like a poison sign sort of thing.
Pretty cool.
Because that was the logo. I'm not totally sure why they banned it, because they were allowing alcohol to sponsor shirts. Obviously, Wrexham Lager. It's around the same time. I think it was the skull and the Black Death thing that they objected to. Nowadays, that would be seen as a cracking St. Pauli and whatever.
Yeah.
Raven or something in American football are with the skull and crossbones.
Well, St. Pauli are the masters of selling off kits, aren't they? They put a rainbow flag on it. They do the skull and crossbones with their kits, and you obviously don't see many Division 2 Bundesliga's Vi kits everywhere, but you do see St. Pauli kits here, there, and everywhere. Where you look at Parma's kit, goalkeeper kit this year, they've copied the exact same one as what Buffon's had when he first started playing for them years and years and years ago, and that's selling off. So, as I said, it's. I think the sponsors do play a part, but I also think things being iconic play a part as well, and being something that everyone remembers plays a part as well. Like the 150-year kits for Wrexham sold quite well, didn't they? And things like that.
That's true. Well, where are you coming from? You don't see lots of Bundesliga's shirts on the streets, Up here on the sort of the east end of Wrexham. I mean, you can't move for kids in Greuther Fürth shirts.
Hansa Rostock and all them.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a Hansa Rostock fan club just on the clubhouse just around the corner from us. Absolutely, yeah. Oh, when they meet the Kiel lads in the grey, there's usually trouble.
But yeah, it is a nice kit. It's not. I'm going to be honest. It's not my favorite, but it's a really, really nice kit. And that kit was in action, wasn't it, the other day for the first time?
It certainly was. Burnley away, behind closed doors, and neither of us saw it. But having said that, I've been given a steer, and I want to thank Colin Henrys and the media team, because there was virtually nobody there from the club, and there's no footage. But Colin was able to give me a bit of a detailed rundown on it so we could have a chat about it, so thank you to him. We did play three at the back. We were talking about centre-backs earlier.
Oh.
But I don't think that is necessarily an indication we're going to go forwards doing that, simply because we had issues at the back. Lennon and Record weren't able to play, so our numbers were massively reduced. And so whether that was something we're going to work on anyway, or whether it was just a case of, okay, well, we got three lads we could put at the back, because early training, pre-season matches are, to a great extent, a matter of getting your match sharpness back. I was reading this morning in The Athletic, actually, a thing suggesting that, because the day after our Burnley match, Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez came back for their first games in 2/3 of a year for Liverpool. And the message from it was, firstly, they look so sharp in training, so Liverpool are really optimistic that they're going to be back at their previous levels. but also that both of them made mistakes during the game.
Yeah.
Match sharpness and training sharpness is something different. So these games are training match sharpness exercises, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we may have just played three at the back because we haven't got the personnel in yet to play differently. But
yeah, and that's why I think it's important. The Tamworth game on Saturday, if we lose 2-3-0, it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
You know, there's gonna be fans in the ground for that one. So as I said, I don't think it's worth over exaggerating if we don't play very well. Because again, there's been plenty of times where I've seen Wrexham play really well at pre-season. I'm thinking, oh yeah, we're gonna crack on this season, and then not peter out very well. So pre-season's pre-season. It's just fitness exercises, isn't it? Really.
Exactly. The two wing backs were Green and Marsh Brown, playing extremely high up the pitch, apparently. So again, you know, I mean, whether you would see Marsh Brown as a wing back, well, I was going to say I would be dubious about that, but then I suppose Carlos Edwards, similar profile of player. But having said that, it sounded like we were very much, you know, using the wing backs to be very progressive and get high up the pitch, and there was a lot of sort of long switching between them to try and stretch Burnley out. Apparently, some people have reported that we were playing long balls. That doesn't seem to have been the case. It was more that we were trying to stretch Burnley sideways by switching because they were very wide and very high up the pitch. And then the other thing up front was that apparently Mullin and Hyde looked a good combination. Lots of communication between them.
Nice.
And looked to gel nicely. Now the youth players came on. The young lad Fountain apparently was the one who caught the eye the most. But yeah, early days, but some interesting signs at least to draw from that. And it sounds like we could easily have won it. And I know the result isn't important, but it sounds like we were creative and caused problems. So
we had a couple of trialists as well, didn't we?
Yes, but we
can't say much about that.
Really?
Yeah, but it's nice to see that we have trialists in. We may see those trialists on Saturday as well.
May well do. Yeah,
it's always exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, it's starting to develop. It's a quiet week on the transfer front this week. It's surprising, isn't it? So let's see what happens.
Yeah, because I think we need that maybe a holding midfielder, a couple of midfielders as well, don't we? As well as defenders. I think going forward, we look very, very strong, don't we, attacking wise? But we maybe need a few more in the middle of the park now as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we play two up front, which again, I'm not saying we will, it may be just that shape was used because of the players available. But if we play two up front, then Ponticelli, Angus, McAlinden, Bickerstaff and Thomas will all be thinking, I got to get past two proven goal scorers here. So that's a hell of a lot of competition for places if we play two up front.
And and if Kwame Thomas comes back and plays like he did last season, he's going to be a hell of an asset, especially to come off the bench as well. So yeah, it's nice to have that, especially towards the end of last season. We had so many injuries going forward. It's nice to have that a plethora of different types of forward-thinking players, isn't it?
Absolutely. And like you say, then midfield and centre-back are probably the priority areas, aren't they now? Centre mids, as you say, a destroyer, if you will, might not be a bad idea, especially if we do play wing backs and we play them high up the pitch. We've got a 10 in Jordan Davis and Jarvis and Redmond. We've got an 8 in Luke Young. We need a 6 perhaps. But also, you know, I like the idea of a strong midfielder, a sort of Danny Williams style destructive midfielder, Sam Wedgbury, that sort of player. But I also like the idea of being able to bring in a playmaker, maybe a playmaker who can mix it up and scrap as well, like in the late 90s, Peter Ward, Dave Brammer, or, you know, Ferguson, those sorts of players who can put in a shift and win the ball, but also use the ball intelligently as well. You know, if we've been concerned about lack of creativity the last few years, I'm inclined to say that problem maybe we should put behind us now, because last season we scored quite a lot of goals. But if we could bring in a player who can control games at this level, or maybe even a level above, that really would again put the frighteners into teams like Stockport, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and 100%. And we're going to have to bring in players of a good quality as well, because Stockport are signing really good players as well, aren't they, this season? I think if you look at the conference in general this year, it's going to be very competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But hopefully we got the quality to blow that away. It'd be interesting to see where their squads are when the dust settles, because as we've been saying, players will have to play at a lower level than they want to because of the recession. But on the other hand, those non-league teams will still have to find some wage money for them. So it'd be interesting to see which clubs are clever and manage to land some bargains, and which clubs aren't so clever and end up falling by the wayside. This will be, but us and Stockport seem to be the two that are really in a position to spend, aren't we?
But there's going to be a lot of National League clubs gambling this season as well, I think.
Yeah.
Trying to get those players who are dropping down levels because they have to, and maybe they can't quite afford them. But thankfully, we're in that unique place where we can afford them, and there is some sort of plan to get us out of the league. Maybe if it's not this season, it's going to be the season after that. So, yeah, I think if you're a player dropping down, quite clearly because of Paul Mullin, we're a really attractive outfit, and so is Stockport, a really attractive outfit to go to, I think.
Chesterfield interests me because their parachute payment stopped now, and they've admitted at first that they were gambling to spend the parachute money to bounce straight back up, and they haven't achieved it. Last season, I mean, as we talked about in Dragonheart, blinking heck, they had a ludicrous amount of players. They reshaped their squad essentially 3 times. Well, okay, they gambled, didn't work. What do they do now? They've got a lot of those players still. Can they bring more in? Well, they're going to keep gambling. Where will that leave them? It reminds me quite a lot of the Dean Saunders years, where we kept ripping up squads and starting again and having loads too many players. And admittedly, it worked in the end, but because it didn't take us up, if the trust hadn't taken over, we probably would have gone bust because the debts were immense. So I'd be interested to see what exactly happens with Chesterfield, one way or the other. I get a funny feeling that they're not going to have a grey season. It's going to be either spectacularly good or catastrophic.
Yeah, it's quite scary for them in this sort of uncertain times as well, isn't it, really? Financially, for everyone at the moment, everyone who's working, every football club. So, yeah, I hope that I wish them the best, to be fair, off the pitch, financially. So, yeah, there is some good teams this year. It's certain. I think a lot of Wrexham fans seem to think it's going to be a bit of a walk in the park, and I'm not so confident, because it's going to be very, very competitive. Some big sides in this league this year, and Grimsby look good too. They've made some couple good signings recently. So yeah, I am very excited, very eager to get this campaign kicked off.
Absolutely. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I do think that we ought to have a squad that can try and make it an immediate imprint on this division and dictate the terms, if you like. So I'm not complacent about it, but I'm optimistic.
100%. And again, another team, Dagenham Redbridge, looked really, really good towards the end of last season. If they kept all their players, they're going to be another team that are going to be going for it. So it's going to be really, really fascinating. So yeah, after this, we're going to be joined by the second part of the Dominic Vose interview.
This is Sean Brisley. This is Dragonheart.
Speaking of good goals, Tranmere.
Good goal, yeah.
You know, I mean, red gloves at the start of the match as well. That was a shocker. Yeah. We'll let you off it.
Yeah.
Lovely cross with your left foot for the first goal.
Well, Wes York, he bloody nearly missed. Moke's done a good run. I said, like, we was in a good place for Wrexham, man. I said it is bittersweet because it was in a good place. We really was it was going in the right direction, I feel, man.
And you scored a lovely curler again, edge of the area.
Yeah, I think slow, cutting 1-2 of Geno, whipped it far. I think everyone knows that me cutting in and whipping it far corner is kind of my bread and butter.
Yeah. And then at that point, we're well placed in the playoffs. We're doing well. In fact, that game we've won 5 out of 6.
Yeah. I think we might have lost to Maxfield, maybe.
Yes, that's right. And that was a funny sort of game, but we made chances.
yeah, I think Manny Smith passed the ball, he got stuck in a puddle. Like, you know, it happens.
And then after the Tranmere game, we lose 5 in a row.
This is the Christmas period.
That's right, yeah. And
I think this is where, on a personal note, I felt the shift, but probably a bit more personal more than anything. As I said, I think we have Christmas, because I remember. Yeah, so before these games, we lost 5 in a row. But I just remember saying, like, I feel like I'm being blamed for this. I just remember saying it, I think, to one of the boys and that. And then 2-3 games later after this is when I'll get sold anyway. So I was right. But I couldn't. I think these little things. We signed. I think James Beck, big 6-footer. We signed Hesse in midfield. Don't get me wrong, Hesse come in and done well, but you know what his game is. So that's what I felt. I felt that in around a certain period we was going away from us. Yeah, you know what I mean. And I feel that was maybe to my demise, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean. It just felt it was going in a different direction. And I remember saying I feel like I'm getting blamed for this. Obviously without being directly blamed.
Yeah.
And then I remember we play a game where we win. First game was 6-3-1. I can't remember who it was against.
Woking, was it?
No, not that one. I scored a free kick against them. We won 3-1 against.
Oh, sorry.
Lincoln. He went 3-1. That was our first win in like 6 or something. Yeah. I remember that. I think I got an assist.
Yeah.
We've got the Braintree on the Tuesday, but I remember the gaffer took me off about 60-70 minutes. And I was kind of upset because, I was just getting into my rhythm again. But we had a game on the Tuesday against Braintree. So I was thinking, he must be resting me. And then don't play. Then Eastleigh don't play. And then that's me done.
Yeah.
So that is my... Yeah.
I'm afraid this is where my tone changes and I start getting angry because this really upsets me. That what we had was going to take us somewhere. And 100%. It's changed into something different. And if you don't mind me saying so, Dom, I mean, you're the sort of player who gets labelled as being a luxury player.
I agree.
And I think you are a luxury player, but luxury is not a bad word. Luxury, the stuff you want. And
I think it comes with a bad. And when it's going bad, luxury comes with a bad undertone. Do you know what I mean? And I think throughout my career, that's been a big thing with me. That he's a luxury player, but when you say luxury, you're saying you associate with he's a liability. He doesn't work hard. He's this, and I think prior to all of these, to me leaving and us losing, that was never something that I'm not here to say I'm the hardest worker like Connor Jennings but it was never a liability for the team for me. I never sacked it off because I'm that good that I'm just gonna do something on the ball. But it's when things are going bad, it's easy to say. I
mean, I'll be honest. I know you can't really comment on this. To be fair, you can if you want to, but you probably can't really. I mean, surely the manager knows what player he's bringing in. You know that's you are that particular type of player. And
listen up, listen up. Listen, I don't got no bad blood towards Gary Mills. It's 5-6 years ago now. I said it's bittersweet, but I think, listen, he knew what I was. As I said, I never sacked things off. I never, you know what I mean. So when I got labelled certain things, it was just I just felt it was rubbish because, not being funny, you went and played Lee Fowler in my position. So that it's deeper than football for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think you can't get rid of me because I'm a luxury and a liability, and then go play Lee Fowler in the same position. That you know what I mean. That's not even criticism to Fowles. It's just make it make sense. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, this is where I start ranting really, and as well in that they're just
go for it.
That summer we brought both of you in with similar profiles, and I'd got thinking is that FC United game makes him suddenly realise, well, I can't play them both with the same profiles, if you will. Oh, I've got 2 luxury players, perhaps he's thinking. But the fact is, you've got 2 excellent professionals there who have creativity. And I mean, I'm just thinking of when you came back to the racecourse playing for Chester in centre mid, showing the sort of proper shift that you put in if you're put in a position to do that, because you were deeper and you were just all over the ball all the time.
But this has been my biggest thing. Listen, Adrian Moke is no holding midfielder, naturally. But what comes with that position is, you've got to win your headers. You've got to maybe slide tackle. You've got to be defensively a bit more sound, because you're not. Remember, I played on the wing. So, listen, I could always work harder. That's like, it goes without saying. But it was never a thing of, like, we've come with that position. It wasn't, the requirements aren't the same as me playing centre mid. So, you know what I mean? It's a typical, it's like if I went and played centre half, I can't expect not to win headers. Like it comes with the role. And I said, when I was at Chester playing centre mid, it wasn't our players are running past me, I'm sacking it off. No, I do what I have to do. But where I excel is on the ball. Yeah. There's always going to be someone probably better than me defensively, because that's just what they're better than me at. But when it comes to, all right, dictating the game now and still putting in the shift, I can still do it. So it's just an easy cop out for me.
And the same with Fowles, to be fair, because he, in his first spell with Wrexham, he's playing centre mid. He's an 8, not a 10. He's not being allowed a free roll. He's putting the shift. It just didn't make sense to bring you both in, label you like that, apparently not use you both. And then as well, just little structural things, almost, and I may be totally wrong saying this, but I loved the possession football, but it almost felt like it was more go out and express yourselves than structured. And the point about Adriano was a key one for me. We didn't have an actual holding midfielder as such. And when you go back and look at goals we conceded, they're not coming because you not put a shift in. They're coming because our 3 midfielders are all pressing high up. We got 6 players up on the edge of their area, big gap, not quite put together right. You know?
Yeah, it's just, I think it was at a stage where we could have got sounder. Like when you bring a Hessian, that might have been what we needed.
Yeah, I felt at the time, to be honest. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So listen, Mokes isn't, I said, he isn't defensive minded. That's just how it is. Yeah. So there's going to be times where he's gonna maybe leave exposed defensively, because it's not because he's taken risks, by the way. It's just because he's not like that naturally. But okay, what you do is you bring in Hezi now, and then maybe swap him with Mokes, put Mokes in an 8 and put Hezi in a 4. And you know what I mean? When we're on edge of the box, there's 5 instead of 6, where Hezi's part of the back 4. Do you know? So but I just felt we just said, nah, we're just going in a different direction. Like literally, that's what I felt personally.
I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, after you left, we went. I've been watching Wrexham since the 70s. You can see how ancient I am.
Yeah,
we went from a possession-based team to the most long ball team I've ever seen Wrexham have. And believe me, we were beat, but we really were Route 1 on Beck's head. He did all right for and Caden Jackson, who we were trying to sell in the January window, and the only reason we didn't sell him was because the international clearance didn't come through, which I didn't understand. It was suddenly banging them all in, but we changed style completely, and that really bothered me enormously.
No, that's how it was for me. So the 2 games before I left, I sat on the bench, Braintree and Eastleigh, and I remember watching it, and this wasn't I wasn't even like saying it because I was on the bench, but I'm saying we're playing rubbish. Like we're meant to be a footballing side. Like we're playing rubbish. I think we played Braintree. I think we lost 1-0. Someone's got a free kick against us. Yeah. But we was rubbish. We was rubbish. Like we was actually rubbish. But then I remember going into the next game. Eastleigh, and I think, I must be starting. I'll start then. Whatever. Don't start. But I remember that we got 1-0 down. I think Sean Newton coming on his right foot from 30 yards and P-rolled it with his right foot through the goalie's legs, if I'm correct. And Connor Jennings missed a penalty like last minute. Yeah. But as a whole, we didn't play well. But I remember after the game, the guy was like, yeah, we done well today. That's how we play. Because I think Eastleigh were kind of doing well at the time and whatever. And I was just there like, what the hell's happened to us? Because we didn't play good. Like, and I said, this isn't because I'm sour that I'm on the bench. It's more like, we are a passing team. Like, we pass the ball really well. I don't think, you know what I mean? So when we're playing like this, it was like, yeah, wow, this is carnage. Like, and then, as I said, it's a Saturday, then the Monday, I'm out the door.
And it saddened me so much that, I mean, honestly, if I go back to that loaded word luxury player, you got double figures for assists and goals in the first half of the season.
And
I mean, that's
and this is like, for me, like, and if it annoys me because I will fight this battle for my days, because even like, I know there'll be fans that even say it, but it might, like, because it's easy to say. But I'm like, right, if I'm lazy and I'm inconsistent and that, but I've got 11 goals, 10 assists by Christmas. I mean, imagine if I got consistent then. Do you know, like,
it'd be quite tasty then.
Do you know what I mean? So it was a weird one. I remember, I think Connor Jennings finished the season with 14 goals, top goal scorer. But all these goals from after Christmas were all penalties. But I took all the penalties then. So I would have been on double. I've been on 20. I've been on 20 plus goals for the. So, and then I probably still would have got labelled luxury if we didn't get promoted. So it's one of those. You can't win.
I sometimes feel, and I don't know, again, maybe I'm being thick saying this, that when you have a winger that's really quick and flashy, people don't tend to talk about them as, if you will, luxury players, because people are excited watching them run around the outside. But then every cross is overhit, and you barely get any end product from them, whereas a playmaker gets that label. Does that make sense?
I 100% agree with you. It's football though, isn't it? Like, football, like, the thing is, listen, people are fans. They deserve to have their opinion.
Yeah.
But they are very fickle, and a lot of fans don't really watch football. So it's like, someone's really fast, runs down the line, gets across, but the cross don't go anywhere. But they clap him because he ran really fast down the line.
Yeah.
Where I might be a man, look, the ball's going out of play. I might not run for it. And if you see that as me being lazy, fair play. But what I'm going to do next time is I'm going to whip the ball and it's going to go on someone's head. So it just depends, man. You know what I mean? Football's hard. You can't please everyone. Yeah. But I do think fast wingers, you know, midfielders that hit tackles, they always get the plaudits, which I'm not knocking them for it, but what about, all right, so if you go smash someone in a tackle, but then give the ball away after, is that tackle worth it? I'm not too sure. Yeah. You know, if you run really fast down the line to keep the ball on the pitch, then kick out a play, you got to ask yourself, was that worth it? Yeah. So,
I mean, I've got to say, it's no coincidence, I don't think, that you've ended up getting appreciated abroad. Is it a very British thing that we love somebody who'll smash into a tackle or will run fast past someone rather than technical ability?
It's definitely a British thing. Listen, it's definitely, especially lower levels as well. And I say this humbly, like, if I left Wrexham and went to a championship team, or instead of going to Scunthorpe, I went to a team that I can't think they passed the ball, but like Walsall, I think they passed the ball really well.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be any, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, because my quality, the higher I go, excels. But if I'm not in an environment that wants to go that direction, it's easy to say, nah, he's this, he's that. Do you know what I mean? So, as I said, from even before I was at Wrexham, I always wanted to go abroad. I always knew I'd be appreciated more abroad. Yeah. But that's why, again, when I went Wrexham, I was so happy there because I'd done what I needed to do. But if I'd done 11 goals, 10 assists abroad, bloody hell, I'd be probably playing Champions League right now. Do you know what I mean? So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
I hope I've not looked distracted the last minute or so, but I've just been going through my stats I'm sad for stats. Anyone who knows me will tell you this.
Yeah.
But then end product is what decides football matches. And just to illustrate your end product, since we dropped in the National League, I've been keeping stats on assists.
Yeah.
And there's only 9 players apart from you who ever got into double figures in a season for assists for Wrexham. You did it in half a season. And, you know, I mean, to take a couple of examples from those, 3 of them are in the season when we get 98 points. Well, obviously, people didn't get a lot of assists. Anyway, fair play. They were great players. You've got Connor Jennings was very good assist maker, and he did it twice in a row. And then you've got players, a player who in a way is the opposite of you, and in some ways is similar in that some people didn't quite get him. Paul Rutherford, who's just left the club, who was a proper hard worker, who would take an excellent corner. Insofar as he was very good at putting the ball in the right area for people to attack. So he got double figures a couple of seasons because he would put good set pieces in. But that's not many people. That's over, well, hang on, how many years now? 13 years. Only 10 people have done that, including you, and you did it in half a season.
Yeah, and I think,
you know?
But this is what I mean. So if I'm inconsistent, then bloody hell, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you can't win. You can't win. I think with me, this is just me on my personality, my character, my swag. It comes with a lot, and as I've got older, I've realized it. You know what I mean? Because I've never tried to be a certain way inclined. I'm just me. I think I get on with everyone. I think fans love me. I'm cool with everyone. But also, there's going to be a lot of fans that maybe don't like it. You know, I had a pink bag and all these things. So when things ain't going well, it's Dom. You know, he's this, he's that. But if you check the stats, you know what I mean? And I say this humbly, if say Wes York got them numbers or whatever, but then he wasn't performing, would he get seen as? Do you know what I mean?
That's my point about wingers catch your eye, don't they? And exactly.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Wes is always doing well. Yeah, he's always trying his best, but no, he ain't done. He ain't done nothing though. So do you know what I mean? And it's just, again, that's not a criticism to Wes. It's just an example. But I think with me, everything around me, it comes with a lot. And I said, as I've got older, I realized it, and that's why me being abroad now. You know what I mean? I get appreciated for my football a bit more. Yeah.
I've got to say though, I've got to be honest. I got the impression that it was that the fans weren't the critics of you. Talking to ex-pros matches, I got that old-fashioned luxury player label. But the fans, I thought, I mean, okay, you know what? Humans are like, never mind fans. I mean, look at the mess this world's in at the moment. People react stupidly in the moment to things.
Of course.
Generally, the fans were right behind you.
I think generally, me and the fans got on. I think it is. I think in anything, you the negatives stick out more than the positives in anything. So if there's 10 good comments and there's one comment that says Dom's a luxury, that's going to stick out that as a general conception of the fans think I'm a luxury player. So you know what I mean? Oh,
I think you. I can tell you at the time and now you are well loved at Wrexham. I'm telling you that for nothing.
Yeah, no, it was hard. But when I come back against Chester, I was getting the boos. I was like, I was excited to be back. You know what I mean?
Some people just do that anyway, don't they? I think it's
it's fine. It's fine.
The pantomime. No, I can assure you that you're spoken of with real reverence, remembered extremely fondly. And you only have to go back through previous editions of this show to see that the rants are about how you were used, not against you. Believe me. But the fact that you were allowed to go like that when you clearly weren't agitating to go, weren't looking to go. Scandalous in a lot of our eyes, to be honest with you.
I think, like let's say this, it is what it is now. Look, 5-6 years on, but it still upsets me a lot because in life and in football, it's moments. You know what I mean? I said that was the right moment. Everything was going right. Everything. You know, I'm doing my numbers. I'm playing well. You know, and it's not that I've become a bad player, but I haven't found the right marriage again. And finding the right marriage is very hard in football. Yeah. So when it happened, as I said, I think I remember having a fans forum beginning of the season. And I've said I want to stay for the season. I remember saying I want to stay for the season. I think after the Tranmere game, I said, there's an interview where I say, yeah, I think I can get 20 goals. So leaving was never on the agenda. Never. Like, it was never on the agenda. So when I've kind of been forced to leave like that and gone to, respectfully, when I've gone Scunthorpe, I don't even know where Scunthorpe is. I don't even know what Scunthorpe is. Do you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even. So when I've gone there, I'm thinking, what the hell? Like, yes, I've jumped 2 leagues. I've got a bit more money, but for one, the money is not worth leaving for. And I don't even know anything about Scunthorpe. Like, so it upsets me to this day, because when Scunthorpe bought me, they didn't have a manager. So when I go there and don't play, there's no coincidence really, because they don't even know they don't even know what direction they're going in.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's I said, I got a call. So we played the Eastleigh game on the Saturday. Obviously, Eastleigh's kind of down south, so I've stayed home. We've got Sunday and Monday off. I think the Monday I'm just in my house as no. I think I'm heading up like to central London, and so I've got a call from the gaffer. I didn't even have his number saved. But you're right, Dom, Mr. Gaffer. That's me and the gaffer got on. We had a good relationship. So when he's calling me, I'm just thinking he's going to talk about what's been going on, like football-wise. Yeah. And he goes, "Oh, like long story short, we've had a bid from Grimsby, or we accept a bid from Grimsby. Do you want to go?" And I've gone, "Oh, okay, no, I don't want to go. Like I don't want to go." And going, "Oh, like have a think about it. Talk to your dad, talk to your agent." And that's literally the last conversation I ever had with Barry Mills. And then whatever transpired, there's loads of fine details, but I ended up going Scunthorpe because I think basically if I stayed, I wasn't in the plans going forward. XYZ. I got labelled as the luxury player. Don't help the team. Inconsistent. And obviously, Greens were in the same league at the time, and I think we played them not too long ago in the season. It was like we battered them, kind of thing. I think we drew 0-0. And yeah, I'm not going Grimsby. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going Grimsby. But I think, you know, I always knew in that left, like there was offers from League One clubs, like, but I always said, no, we want to stay. Yeah. But basically, my agent at the time found out the fee Grimsby bid, and he put the fee to other clubs that was interested. But majority of them couldn't come up with the money. There's only Scunthorpe that could come up with the money at the time. And yeah, they took it. And obviously, I kind of had to take it, because if I stay, I'm not in the plans going forward. Yeah. So yes, in hindsight, I think maybe in hindsight I could have stayed and because I think at this time you could go on loan outside the window, so maybe I could have stayed and done that. Yeah. But you know what I mean? As a 2 leagues higher, I've done my maths on it. I've done the research. Listen, they had 19 games to go. There was like 6 points off playoffs. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, 6 points off playoff. They signed me on deadline day. If I score another 5-10 goals, I'm going to go again in the summer anyway. Yeah. Go there, play 8 minutes of first team football in 3 months. So yeah, cheers. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I'll never understand what happened in the terms of letting you go.
No, same.
All I can say is that you are really loved at the racecourse, and you still are, and you were at the time. I've not seen a player with your ability in the National League, honestly. And to get rid of a player who can control games like that and produce the stats, well, it's probably the thing that makes me most angry out of watching Wrexham all these years, because I think that team, if we kept playing like that and kept getting the best out of you, we'd have gone up. And you build foundations like that, and I'll never understand it. And I won't agree with the rant, but it's a long, angry rant, I can promise you.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, because I'm pretty sure. So when we got what we lost games or whatever in that Christmas period, I don't think like we probably, I don't remember, but how far was we off playoffs? You know what I mean? I don't think it was out of sight. Like we still had a half a season still.
It just felt like that, like a sort of loss of nerve. Do you know what I mean?
we just like it happens. You know what I mean? It was a bad run of form, but I don't think we was ever down and out in the sense of we can't make it back again.
At the start of that run of losses, we were in the playoffs. And at the end of, if I expand it out a bit, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 league games and only win 1. So after you leave, we draw a few. And yet when we win again against Bromley, which is February, we're 8th. And next game we win, we're 6th. Next game we win, we're 4th. But I feel it's not much of a coincidence that that's when Lee Fowler is in playing your role.
Yeah, it's similar type of, yeah.
So we started having a creative player back in, and then that's the point where Caden Jackson's scoring, but then we start going longer, and then the win dry up. So we're back in the playoffs. In fact, hang on a second, just looking at this. Yeah, we were in the playoffs at the end of February.
So again, back to my point is, if we believed in what we was doing again, I have no doubt that we would have finished the playoffs. And you know what I mean? And I think on paper, team-wise, performance-wise, also I haven't watched Wrexham since, but I don't think any Wrexham team since has been better.
No.
That's not me trying to be big time, or I don't think there'll be any. But obviously, I played against Wrexham with Chester. That obviously, there was hard working and say, but couldn't touch us. I think they couldn't touch our Wrexham team.
Well, as well, we finish 8th, so 3 places off the playoffs. But our last 8 games, won 2, drawn 1, lost 5. So that's the sort of form that this long ball team was getting. Yeah. Because a lot of these players are brought in and playing possession football. Now suddenly a hoof in it. We've not got the squad.
Yeah, it was crazy. I speak to I spoke to Newts when I was out here, and we're just talking on via messages, and he was like, mate, that Wrexham team, I can't, what happened, man? Because I think as a collective, it's like, I think no one's really, obviously players have pushed on, but it's like the core group that was part of it hasn't, if really, and it's like, mate, what happened? Obviously, I think Caden's done well, John Nolan's pushed on, but the core group that was playing from the start, it's more like that was the time, man. You know what I mean? That was the time for us to, as a team, because it was a good group of boys. We had the player house. It was a very family environment at the time.
And as well, I mean, for me, you look at those players. I guess, I mean, you're a case in point, really. When you're doing well at a club, and then a club just inexplicably says leave, that's a setback in your career, and you have to try and dig in.
No,
a lot of those players got released by us, amazingly, rather than getting better moves.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard. It really is hard. Like, as for me, that is what has spiraled my career, really. Me, you know what I mean. If you, me leaving Wrexham, how I left Wrexham. The clubs I've gone to, it didn't make, because I said, you've got to remember at the time as well, like, I was in the papers after I scored that goal, but I'm getting rumours, Birmingham, Wolves, Sheffield United, Rotherham, and respectfully to Scunthorpe and Grimsby, they're the 2 next clubs I go to in the league.
Yeah.
So it's like, in reality, I'm not meant to go to any of these clubs because of the trajectory I'm on, but with football, someone's got their life in their hands. Yeah. Your life in their hands, and it kind of doesn't matter what you do. Like I said, like people like say, listen, you go to a team, you do well, you score goals, it'll work itself out. Yeah. I agree, but I talk for myself. I went there, scored 11 goals, 10 assists, and it didn't do anything for me apart from give me bloody heartache. So. That's me in football. It's bittersweet with me in football. I love football to pieces, but it hurts me bad because I don't think I should be where I am today. Yeah. And it's fine margins what put you in these situations.
And bizarre decisions, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. Things out of your control. So it is what it is. I said, I tell anyone, listen, just work hard, train hard, make sure you're the best, and leave it to the big man upstairs, and we go from there, because you can't plan for a manager changing on you. You can't plan for that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
All I can say, I'm telling you, on behalf of Wrexham fans, you're an absolute star as far as we're concerned, and it was a privilege to have you. And you mentioned your swag earlier. I like that rucksack. I enjoyed it. With the big rucksack. I thought it was good.
I think, as I said, the fans, like I said, it's probably older pros with a certain mentality. They might frown upon it. Yeah, but we're in a new generation, you know. You got to let the young boys express themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Man. You had the skills to carry it off as well.
Hey, it is what it is, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you, and I know everyone's going to really love this.
Anytime, man.
I'm Liam McClendon, and this is Dragonheart.
Well, thanks to Dom Vose there. Great conversation. He's a good talker, isn't he, Mark?
Oh, Dom's fantastic. You know, fair play. Very honest as well. And fascinating to hear him talking about that luxury player label, which I completely agree with him. He's absolutely right.
Yeah. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to get him on. And next week, Mark, we're going to be talking about, my experience as a fan, being for the first time since the pandemic, really, getting on the train and going to Tamworth. I can't wait.
Brilliant. I hope I'll be there as well. We don't know yet the situation with press passes, but I hope I'll be able to go, and we'll be able to compare notes next time.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. As the days are going closer to it, I'm getting more and more excited and anxious, because I think the thought of getting on a train with crammed full people, because we know what it gets like when you get to Birmingham New Street. It gets very, very packed. No masks. Just waltzed into a pub. It's going to be absolutely crazy. So can't wait to talk about it, and I can't wait to watch Wrexham live again.
Absolutely. That'll be fantastic for so many people, won't it?
Yeah, it's going to be great just to be able to see people laughing, smiling, enjoying a pint, enjoying the game, hopefully. And yeah, hopefully it's a sign of things to come. Hopefully we won't have to go back into lockdowns of empty stands.
First time Wrexham fans have been able to go to an away game since we got battered by Yeovil in February 2019. So yeah, a lot of change since.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to some Tamworth surf and turf. So
nice.
Yeah, on to next week. Thanks for everyone for listening, and get tuned next Friday.
Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe as well so you don't miss out on any of our content, and click the bell to get notifications.